Okay. Okay. Let us read some good old Homestuck fan fiction. Chapter 5, Heavy in Your Arms. Hey, Aradia, I know we haven't really talked much since you and Solix broke up, but I just wanted to see if you're doing okay. Oh, Karkat, that's really sweet of you. You don't need to worry about talking to me, though. It's not like we've stopped being friends just because me and Solix broke up, right? Right, I don't want to lose you as a friend either. Good. Well, we're both agreed on that and that not happening then. And I'm fine, thank you for asking. I'm glad to hear that, but I was actually genuinely asking how you are. I mean, 10 years of a mateship gone just like that is a lot to deal with. You don't have to be pretend to be fine if you're not. Almost 10 years. Okay, a couple of months short, but still. No, I get your point. It's a big change, and I suppose since I've always lived with someone in either my Lesses or Solux, and suddenly living alone is odd. Although that said, it's not too different to the times when the two of us would be stuck on entirely opposite shifts. That's got to be really hard to deal with. I'm sorry. It's fine, really. I mean, it is what it is, you know. Well, yes, but come on. It's not just some unusual situation that you found yourself in. It's a breakup. I know that, Karkat, but there's no point in wallowing in sad feelings, and these things pass with time. It doesn't change any of the good memories I have with Solix, and being upset at the relationship being over won't change anything at all. Oh, and I don't want to. We broke up for a reason because we discovered that our relationship was dead for a long time. I wouldn't want to inflict that on either of us. No, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have broken up. From what you both said, it seems like things came to a pretty final point. I'm not asking you to get back together. Well, then, there you go. It's final, so there's nothing else to say on the matter. Aradia, don't take this the wrong way, but you seem weirdly unbothered by this. It's not that I don't care, it's just that in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big a deal. The universe is being consumed every day, and focusing on what it was is pointless. Me and Solix are over, and the only reproductive thing I can do is look to the future, and there's so much there. It doesn't change that we had good times, or that I wish him well, but I won't live in the past. In the past. Well, yeah, living in the past and agonizing about it is obsessively is definitely bad for you, but there sure as shit some middle ground between moping over what was and destroying your life in sadness and whatever it is that you're doing here. To be entirely honest, Karkat, I didn't actually ask you. Kanaya looks up from your palm husk that you'd slid across the table to her. Oh, that is not good, Kanaya says grimly. Thank you! She's clearly far more upset about this than she's letting on, and we need to do something about this. You insist. She clearly isn't interested in accepting help from you on this matter. No doubt because of how close you are to Solux. Arati and I would have also never been and Arati and I have also never been fantastically close, and I can only assume that if I was to continue to approach her, she would assume that you would have done exactly what you're doing now. Kanaya continues. She leans back in her chair slightly, drumming her claws on the table. It wouldn't work anyway. Rose comments from the little kitchenette area where she's dispensing boiling water into your mugs so you can each have tea. We can't just sit back and do nothing. We could, actually. That is always an option, Kanaya says, because she's contrary like that. No, what I mean is that you're right. Jude interprets Kanaya as another attempt by you to change her mind, and honestly, neither of you stand a chance. She's in denial about how she feels, very clearly so. Your best bet is to try to encourage someone else to talk to her, someone who shares her view on the situation, Rose suggests. By the situation, you mean what exactly? Her attitude to the breakup, sulks and self, or how best to handle feelings of grief? Kanaya asks. Rose sets your mugs down on the table and perches on the edge of her and Kanaya's bed with her own. The latter. You can't engage in with someone in denial like that. You have to meet them where they are by allowing them to accept the present and then confront the past at their own speed in a safe environment. You're poking at a problem, it won't just open up. She has to come to the realization by herself. You need someone who thinks that way, Rose explains. You frown and consider her words carefully. Dave? You ask uncertainly. Rose snorts inelegantly into her mug and then leans down to set it on the floor. All this gives her the time to give you the most withering of looks. No, Carcat, I would struggle to think of anyone less future-focused than Dave. Dave plans for the future, yes, but his plans for the future are entirely based on his knowledge of the past, and his plans are vague at best. His attitudes to himself and others hinges on the past. He views the future as something that he'll deal with when he gets there. He's able to live in the present a lot more comfortably now than he used to be able to, but he was awful at living in the future. Aradia's current worldview is very much that the past cannot be changed, and only the future can be, Rose explains. Not to be obtuse here, but given a linear understanding of time, isn't that not how everyone thinks? Kanaya asks, and you're grateful that she does, so you don't have to. Consider like this. The past has already happened, yes, but some people obsess over the past. What did this event really mean? What caused it? What does it mean for me? Who was I, and how did that shape me now? Sorry. People who can't let the past go think like this, and they very much face backwards, ignoring the present moment and the future. When new things happen in life, they become just another thing to think about in the past. People agonize about what they could have done or should have done. It's unhealthy, Rose explains. You're pretty sure you've been guilty of that. On the other hand, some people refuse to think about their past. What's done is done, and they can't change it at all. Yet they're always hopping from future moment to future moment, wishing for something that's not yet here. They think things will be all right when they finally have this thing, or when that thing has happened. They're never satisfied with anything that happens to them, because once they achieve it, then it flits through the present moment and off into the past. They avoid thinking about anything in the here and now, or anything that's happened to them before, and instead focus only on the future. This is also unhealthy, Rose continues. So it's best to focus on the now? Surely that can lead to short-sighted hedonism, Kanaya asks. Certainly. An obsession with only this moment is not good for you. What's best is to live in the present moment, but be able to look at what has happened in your past, accept it, and learn from it, and leave it there. You should also look into the future and plan for things, dream of progress, but also appreciate the moment you're in with a sort of mindfulness. It's all about balance, Rose answers her. So, Arati is ignoring her past and only focusing on the future, instead of how the past made her feel and how she's feeling now, you say? Correct. Now, Dave is able to live in the now, and generally does, but he's very tied to the past as a person, and he's not great at dreaming ahead of himself, which is fine. He's not unhealthy in how he views the world, but it's very incompatible if you're looking for someone to reason with Aradia. Now, Jade, on the other hand, is very future-focused, not unhealthily most of the time, but she's a lot more predisposed to the whole the past is the past type attitude. If you want someone to be around Aradia so she can pull back a bit and accept what happened, then I think Jade is your best bet, Rose suggests. You think? You ask a little uneasily. It's not that you dislike Jade. far from it. She's one of your best friends. The problem with Jade is she's not very strong-willed, but she's very averse to anything where it seems like you're trying to pull her strings to get her to do something. You had a lot of very embarrassing teenage arguments with her that you'd really rather not remember. The thing is that Jade is a good person. She's cheerful and friendly, but that doesn't always mean she's nice, and you certainly shouldn't underestimate her. That said, you could describe Aradia with a lot of the same words, so Rose is right about that much. I'm sure if you're upfront with her about your concerns, then she'd be willing to help. She and Aradia are friends after all, Kanaya says. Yeah, I suppose so. I just feel pretty bad that I've already upset Aradia, and I'd rather not piss off Jade too, you say quietly. I'm sure she'll be happy to help you. She was the one who got broken up with after all. She needs support. Just ask for help. Rose advises you sagely. You nod your head slowly and consider your next move. After a few moments of thought, you pick up your palm husk again and open a message to Jade. On the ship, you have 3 standard time shifts. First shift, second shift, and third shift. On top of that, though, you have people in a week. Week A or week B. So the ship is never understaffed because everyone's on the weekend at some point. Some professions like Dave and Gamsley's don't follow that same structure and you just work when they work, but for most people in standard jobs, you fit into that. People in standard jobs, you fit into that kind of pattern. The vast majority of her friends are on week A, same with you, which ought to mean that Jade is off today just like you are. Hi, Jade, are you busy right now? Oh, hi, Carcat, I'm working at the moment, actually, but it's just crunching Geoffy's data, so I could use the break, to be honest. What's up? Oh, I thought you had a day off. Normally I would, yeah, but I had to switch shifts. Dave has an eye appointment tonight, and they have to do all the checks and stuff before the big mission coming up. Since it fell right in his usual checkup window, they moved it up. Being suddenly blind and sometimes a little numb from painkillers isn't a good combo, so I try and take him there and take him back from the first appointment. Shit, I really never thought about what those would be like. I know the cyborg department has to tune him up or whatever every so often, but that's a lot. Yeah, and if anything is even slightly wrong, they have to take everything out and check it over or repair it and all that until they can give it back to him. Wow. Oh, shit, I have to go. Oh, fuck, I didn't even get to ask you what I wanted to. Well, hey, why don't you come around for dinner this evening at 7 at my place? We can talk about whatever's on your mind, and if you bring dinner around, I don't have to pick that up on my way back with Dave. Are you sure you won't mind? Nah, he's fine afterwards. I just like to keep an eye on him is all. Well, okay, tonight at 7 then. Anything in particular that you want? Surprise me. Oh, gotta go. You shift your bewildered look from your palm husk to your friends. I think I'm seeing Jade this evening to ask about it. Only Dave's gonna be there. He'll be blind and I have to pick up dinner, and I'm not completely sure what just happened, you tell them. That sounds like a standard conversation with Jade, Rose says with a nod. I guess, you say? You didn't really consider that Dave would be there listening to what you had to ask Jade. He's clearly already tried to talk to Aradia, but he doesn't know that you know that. You also don't know if Jade knows that. This could be tricky. You finish up tea with Rose and Kanaya, thoroughly divested of several embarrassing bits of information that you hadn't meant to tell them, and one unsettling analysis of a recent dream, too. You make a couple of attempts in the afternoon to talk to Solux, but he just seems sullen and miserable about things. The more you try to get him to open up, the snappier he gets with you until you eventually relent and back off. You tidy your place up a little, which mostly means picking up after Gamzee, but no matter what, you still have your mind on this looming appointment with Jade and Dave. You leave a little early and then worry about what food would be best to feed a blind person, only to remember that you ate lunch daily with Dave and Teresia and never saw either of them have any problems with anything like that. Back in school, Dave Dave didn't have Terezi's synesthesia-fueled vision, but he did have a very uncanny awareness of what was going on around him, and his vision was good enough that he still kicked your ass in gym class. He was always very clear that he was nearly blind, but not actually blind. But now that he's got cybernetic eyes, he's totally blind without them because, well, his cybernetic eyes are now his only eyes. You settle on burritos, both because you like them and because the food all stays within the wrap. Dave won't have to chase things blindly around his plate. It should be fine. At 7 on the dot, you ring Jade's doorbell, and after a few seconds, she opens it with a smile. It looks like you caught her partway through changing out of her work clothes. She's wearing a vest top, and her lab coat is hanging by the door. "Hi, Carcat!" She greets you brightly and steps inside. She plucks a sweater off a nearby chair and pulls it over her head, then untucks her long hair from inside it. "I brought food," you say, and hold up the bag. "Great, Dave's just in the shower, so he'll be here in just, Jade stops as a sudden yell from the bathroom interrupts you both. "Beck! No! Beck!" Dave yells as you hear a loud scuffling commotion, and then noise like, well, you don't know what. "Did Beck just get in the shower?" Jade calls after a moment. "Yes!" That's probably a bit too much. "Yes!" Dave shouts back irritably. There's a few thumping footsteps, a muffled bark, and then the bathroom door slides open. Dave is standing there with one towel held around his waist and another balled up in one fist. Beck's bright white fur is half sodden and sticking up at odd angles, with his mouth lolling open in a perpetual smile. Dave tosses the towel held in his hand to Jade, who stomps back into the bathroom. His eyes were closed the whole time. You're not sure if you want to see what he looks like with them open. The idea both intrigues and repulses you a little. You're certainly not going to ask. "You're a very soggy doggy, huh, aren't you?" Jade giggles as she rubs her dog dry. "I thought he was retired from being a guide dog, not that he was a great one before," you observe as Beck wiggles about happily in the towel. "No, he's a very good guide dog. The problem is that he just does what he wants to do, not always what Dave wanted him to do. He'd never put Dave in danger. Even getting in the shower with him then wasn't going to knock Dave over, but he wanted in the shower, so in he goes. Too smart for his own good," Jade explains. Beck looks at you, and you can certainly agree that he seems far too intelligent for his own good, or at least for Dave's good. Before you say anything, the door opens again, and Dave is standing there, fully dressed with his sunglasses on. You haven't seen those since before he got his eyes replaced. His shirt is riding up a little as he rubs his towel through his hair. "Carcat, just because I'm Mexican doesn't mean you had to get Mexican. I feel racially profiled." Dave deadpans and drops down to sit on the edge of Jade's double bed. "I thought I'd give you something to complain about. Plus, if you have a burrito stuffing in your mouth, you'll stop talking for a moment," you shoot back. "Always knew you wanted to stuff something in my mouth," Dave says, the corner of his mouth curling up in a smug little smile. "Don't we all? Which one is which?" Jade asks as she picks through the bag you brought. "This one's mine, and those two, it's up to you," you say as you pluck your burrito out. "Dave, more spice or less spice? Normally I wouldn't ask, but..." Jade trails off, one burrito in each hand. "Yeah, but after aqueous rummaging around in my tear ducts, I think I'll wimp out, thanks. Just for today," Dave says, as you watch he leans over to grab the burrito from Jade and misses. She moves and presses it to his hand, so the moment is minute, but you still caught it. "So, Carcat, what did you want to talk about?" Jade asks, unwrapping her burrito. You pick at the foil surrounding yours and try to figure out how to phrase what you've been meaning to say, even though you've been thinking about it all afternoon. More accurately, you've been thinking about it since Rose mentioned it. you know Aradian Solux, right? You know about Aradian Solux, right? You ask. Of course I do. Jade nods. Shit really sucks. It's like a real crap situation for everyone involved. Dave agrees and bites into his burrito. Exactly. When I talk to Arati, she's acting like nothing is wrong. And I know Arati is a little bit like that. She doesn't let things get her down, but this isn't something small. I tried to get her to talk to me about it. She's my friend too. I know Solix is my best friend and all, but we're not doing this whole thing where a couple breaks up and divide the friend group. Explain. I don't think anyone wants that. Jade nods. Right, but I tried talking to her about it, and I think I made things worse. No, I definitely made things worse. Or at least I made her angry at me. Maybe I'm just too close to Solux for her to tell me how she's doing, but she's my friend, and I don't like the idea that she's hurt and not talking to anyone about it. I'm pretty sure she won't talk to me, but I was hoping that you could try and be there for her, get her to open up a little, you ask hopefully. You said you talked to her before, right, Dave? Jade asks, glancing over at Dave. So he did tell her. Dave swallows his burrito and nods. She's up to her neck in denial about the whole thing. I tried to tell her that shit festers, you know? She got as close as to blowing up in my face that Radia does and stormed off, so I'm pretty sure if I try to talk to her about that, she'll deck me. But maybe I'm in her bad books because I took her ex who dumped her into her hive, so, you know. Dave shrugs a little. Would you talk to her, Jade? You ask hopefully. I'm not really sure I should. She clearly doesn't want to talk about any of this, but, well, I've been pushing a lot for a lot of the science crew to get together for social things before the next big mission. I could actually arrange everything to make that happen instead of just suggesting it, and make sure that Arati is there. She might just need to take her mind off things and have stuff to look forward to that both doesn't have anything to do with Solix and never has. A whole new thing, you know? Then if it feels right or if she wants to talk, then she can, Jade suggests. Rose's assessment seems pretty on point. Not that you should be surprised by that. Rose is always accurate. I can't imagine how shitty she must feel. Solix is a mess. Hal feels guilty as shit. I like Arati and I can't hate the idea she's dealing with this nightmare on her own, Dave says quietly. Dave holds out his hand and Beck walks over, dropping down to sit between Dave's legs and lolling his head against Dave's knees. Dave pets his former and now temporarily present guide dog. I'd really appreciate it if you could. I still can't believe this happened at all, you say glumly. Solux has made it clear that however things between him and Aradia changed, it happened slowly and a while ago. It's scary to think that sort of thing can just creep up on you. A relationship-ending mound of problems just lurking unaware. It really sucks. Now we're the longest-running couple in our group. Not really a title I wanted, seeing as it meant them falling apart, Dave says. It's not like it's anyone's fault, but it's still sad. Jade agrees. Can I get that in writing? Hal's still losing sleep over it. Dave laughs without much humor. I still have no idea how he thought the whole dumbass scheme was going to go down. Like, anyone have bought that whole fake relationship thing, Jade says, shaking her head. Heradia bought it, you mumble, killing the conversation. The three of you silently eat your food for a bit, the weight of the truth you just dropped holding all of your tongues. Eventually you can't stand it anymore and you have to say something. So, Dave, what exactly is Equius doing with your eyes? You ask awkwardly. Tune-up, updating software and hardware. The next planet we're going is very snowy, so he's making sure that they can handle upping contrast in snow. No good me getting there and being perpetually snow-blinded, Dave answers. It's incredible that he can do that much. I'm surprised Terezi never went in for that. I know she doesn't view her blindness as a disability or anything, which is fine, but do you think Equius could do something that would help, even if it wasn't extensive as yours? I wonder. Dave shakes his head. It's not like that. I didn't care much about being able to see better. I mean, it was nice to help with my art. Dave starts, although he pauses at your derisive snort on the subject of his art. I just needed perfect and even enhanced vision to do the job I needed to do. I have to be out there, you know? If I had wanted to do something else, if things had been different, I don't think I'd have gone in for it either. My eyes were always fucked up. It was normal for me. There was enough tech to help me read and write. My hearing was great, and I could do pretty much everything else. But since I did upgrade, I end up totally in the dark if they break or if they need re- repairing. I'm worse off now than I was before. I didn't need fixing. I just needed to pass a test to do my job. Terezi does her job and lives her life fine. She doesn't need fixing. Dave explains. I know. I didn't mean. You falter. Sounds a little bit like you did. Jade points out gently. I guess I did. Sorry. I didn't mean to come off like I think you needed fixing. I'm just impressed with the technology. You apologized. You say it was short-sighted of you, but you managed to catch that dumbass comment before it slips out. It's fine. I don't care. If TZ hears you going on about all that though, she might whap you with her cane. With that cane. Dave teases you. I'd have no doubt that she'd do that immediately. You agree? She'd never sign up for this kind of thing. You know when I hang out together, I turn them off. I manually make them send me no information, and we have blind hangouts. It's great. No need to turn the light on or anything. Dave grins. I swear, you always got around better in the dark anyway. Was that actually the case? Was lower light easier, or was I just aware that I couldn't see and you two were fine? You wonder. It's not like that came up a lot. Dave snorts and bites a huge chunk of his burrito as Beck watches, hopefully for drop morsels. Anyway, I'll try to invite Aradia to the science hangout that I had in mind. Hopefully that'll be good for her. I'll look out for her, Jade promises. Thanks, that really means a lot. You don't need to report back to me or anything. It's probably better if you don't, but I'm happy that someone will be there for her, and hopefully things can be better, you say as a little tension leaves you. What, what about Solix? How has he been? I've been trying to stay on top of him. You falter, and as Jade loudly snorts into her burrito. Shut the fuck up! You snap at her, which only makes her laugh at you more outwardly because Jade has no shame in her mockery. You were saying? Dave asks politely, something that makes you automatically suspicious, but nonetheless you press on. I've been trying to keep an eye on how he's doing, but he can be all cagey as hell when he wants to be. Right now, he keeps varying between passive aggressive and just outright aggressive if I push him too hard on it, you say. But he doesn't have a. Jade starts. Jade, ixnay on the ale play. Dave hisses at her. Dave, I speak six languages fluently. Do you think I can't translate the most basic cipher of Pig Latin? I know there's some pale feelings with the whole Solix situation. That isn't what I was asking. That wasn't what I was. On both sides? Jade asks quietly, her sharp green eyes blinking in place. That's not. I'm with Gamzee now. Oh, I'm with Gamzee. There's nothing new. I just want to know how he's doing because I'm having a hard time getting a straight answer out of him. Like, he'll sidetrack onto other topics or ideas when I'm trying to get a read on how he's handling the breakup. Dave, you live with him. What's going on? You ask as discomfort builds you. I don't know. He's not skipping around with glee or anything, and if I try to help him with stuff too much, he just keeps reminding me that we're not friends. Dave says with a movement of his head that you learnt to associate with him rolling his eyes back when you were in school, and he was forever hidden by those glasses. You guess it's still a mannerism he has. He doesn't mean that. He's just bad at accepting that people like him. You're sure, Dave. Like you, Dave says, at the same time that Jade does. Dave grins at Jade, and you watch as the insufferable pair fist bump each other. And with that, at least, Dave seems to have no coordination problems. You both suck, informed the pair. Anyway, he seemed pretty sad about it, but that's entirely what you'd expect. The guy just got his heart broken, and it's not like he's just going to walk it off like, I guess Arati is doing that, but he isn't. Pretty sure her being so fine with everything isn't doing him any favors. Other than that, I don't have anything else to tell you. I'm not spying on the guy, Dave says. Just to be clear, you're not asking me to make sure that Arati feels bad just so Solix can feel better, Jade checks. No, of course not. I don't want that, but the two of them are still going to be pretty connected on the topic of their whole relationship. I'm sure how Solix feels and how he's doing affects her, you reason. It should anyway. Half of the reason you're here is that it doesn't seem to be, and that's worrisome. Your attention gets sidetracked away from the topic of Arati and Solix as Dave licks a slow running drip of red salsa off of his hand, from palm to the tip of his thumb. You think you're past the stage where attractive people you like get to make your pump biscuit stutter, but along with Solix, you have to admit that Dave is one who never really stopped. Not that Jade is any exception either. An embarrassing portion of your teenage years was mixed with relief because one of your crushes started dating someone, which meant you could move past it. Despair because said crush would now make out with one of your other former crushes. Yeah. Oh, and despair. Probably inevitable given how many confused crushes you had. Your whole quadrant problems and the pains of realizing what that meant for you was hard enough. Your relationship with Gamzee is fulfilling, and he's willing to live in the stupid confines you put on him. So you really shouldn't wish for more. But all the same, they've always managed to mash the buttons in your flush pitch sectors of your think sponge in a way that never fully stopped. Like, sure, you once had a crush on Jade, but you also had one on Terezi too. You can perfectly happily see them both as friends who happen to be attractive, and the conscious attraction you have has mostly faded. But Dave, he's in the same category of Solix, where you're determined to stay friends because it's how much you care, but it's not as if the feelings ever really went away. Dave jolts you out of your stupid thoughts by balling up the foil his burrito came in. He lowers it to Beck's height. Beck, trash, Dave instructs the bark beast, who carefully takes the foil from Dave's hands and drops it gently in the small trash can across the room. Good boy! Jade rewards him. Dave beckons the white fluff monster back and gives him approving scritches and pets to reward him. I should probably get out of your hair. Thanks for offering to help Aradia out. It's a real weight off my mind. You thank Jade. It's no problem. She's my friend too. Thanks for dinner. Later, Dave says as you stand, although he doesn't get up himself. Jade walks you to her front door, but stops you before you can walk off by placing her hand on your shoulder. You turn to look at her in confusion, but she fixes you in place with the weight of her stare. I know you're worried, Carcat. It'll all work out. It'll all work out all right, even if it didn't. It's not your job to make everyone happy all the time. I know you've only got best intentions, but sometimes things just don't work out. This isn't on you, Don't beat yourself up about everything, Jade says gently, and then punches your shoulder lightly, or lately for her, at least. Is beating me up your job then? You laugh a little weakly. Yeah! Jade grins, rolling her sleeve up and a little and flexing at you. You hurry off before she decides to prove her strength a second time. You've very firmly learned that lesson over the years. Instead of taking the train back to your hive right away, let your feet steer you hivewards as your mind mulls everything over. I need to sneeze. Alright. Is there a chance that you're the problem here? Not the central problem, of course. You're not that egotistical. Obviously, Solix and Aradia's breakup is the key problem here, but you had thought that you were helping. Solix came to you and you gave him a place to sleep for the night. You found him a place to live longer term, and you're trying to look after him. You're also trying to make sure that Aradia is taken care of too, because it's not as if you only cared for her because she was Solix's mate sprite. She's your friend as well, but are you making things worse? You try not to look at Solix's feelings too directly. It's an unspoken agreement between the two of you that you know how he feels and he knows how you feel. You're at a stalemate with that, and you really value your friendship too much, so neither of you talk about it. You'll reference it if it's really contextually needed, but otherwise it's a taboo subject. That doesn't mean the feelings aren't there. There's every chance that your feelings and Solix's feelings are causing problems here. You need to face this, even if it's just in the privacy of your own mind. The thing is that you're broken. Your boundaries between quadrants are broken, a trait you share with your ancestor. Signless supposedly loved without quadrant, as Disciple so often tells you. She was in a relationship with your ancestor as well as Solix's. Both men are long since dead, but their traits live on in you and your respective ancestors. As far as you know, Kankri is more like Signless than you are in that regard, but he refuses all quadrants so he can dedicate himself to his work. More like he's too insufferable for anyone to want him, but you try to keep that thought to yourself. You're different. You can just do one quadrant without it getting blurry. Your relationship with Gamzee is strictly pale, but the fact that you can do blurry makes you far more compatible with humans than most trolls. Humans found adapting to more allegiance with trolls remarkably easy, and you know some human scholars who go on about queer platonic relationships or something, but you're not well versed in that. But any quadrant where paling is involved, humans hit that speed bump of exclusivity. A minority of humans can only really manage monogamy when it comes to concupiscent relationships, and the idea that your mate sprite has a chiasmesis is really not something a lot of humans can deal with. You're a lot more human than you'd like. You can't share. Gamzee is fine to not see anyone else, and that's what makes things between you work. The idea of having a partner and them going off to anyone else for anything beyond platonics makes you feel like absolute shit. That's on you. Gamzee puts up with your absurd, broken, and stupid demand, whereas basically no one else would agree to that. When you were younger, you hadn't fully worked out how that would work in practice. When you were what you were and weren't okay with. You had crushes that were doomed because your emotions went haywire when anyone else came into the picture. Solix has feelings for you, and you know they were as blurry as your ancestors had. But you also know damn well that Disciple was watching you with unguarded curiosity of the elderly to see if history would repeat itself. You couldn't do it, though. You couldn't risk all that you had with Solix when you weren't sure what you were asking, and you couldn't make him wait forever. So when he and Aradia got together, it was, ironically, that which made you realize your limits. You like Aradia, you do, but you're not dating her, so sharing Solix, even if it was just pale, wouldn't have been something you could deal with. Solix knew that. He talked it through with you. And then you and Gamzee got together, and it was doubly not a thing either of you could do. But now Solix is single, and you're pretty sure his feelings never really went away, just as yours didn't. He's single and you're worried about him. Checking up on him, trying to fix things. It's all pretty pale. You don't want to cheat on Gamzee, and you don't think you are. This is still arguably platonic, but it's close enough that it probably feels like a kick in the teeth for Solix. You'd never overstep your bounds, so it's almost like you're giving him as close as pale as you can while reminding him that your diamond is very much off the table, along with anything else you might feel. Fuck, you're not helping. You might even make things worse. You hesitate, your hand going to your pocket for your palm husk. You want to troll him, to explain yourself, check that he's okay, and then apologize for all of this. Are you tempted to do that for his benefit, though, or for yours? He's going through so much shit right now, it's really not okay for you to ask him to stop processing his own pain just to assure you that you're a good person. Shit, of course you can't ask. How self-centered are you? Disciple, can I come talk to you? Of course you can, sweetie. What's wrong? Do you want me to come over? Do you want to come over? If I could. Do you need me to pick up anything on the way since I'm coming over? Oh, maybe some cake and cookies? Because you're being nice and helping me, I won't remind you that you probably should be watching your blood sugar or anything. Smart choice. I'll head over there now. Instead of going on the line sternwards, you cross over the bow directional line. There's a little grocery place not too far from your destination. When you get really close by, you swing in there and pick up a lemon cake and ginger cookies. Technically, the residential area you're in now ought to be off limits to you, although your HR privileges allow you to go wherever you like. You do need authorization for some places. Yes, you can go check out the ship's engine, but no way in hell are you allowed anywhere near the nuclear reactors down there. Definitely not without decent supervision, at least. In the same way you shouldn't be allowed to the captain's quarters, except you do have authorization. Personal authorization. You swipe through the layers of security and give the guards a little wave as you do. The captain's hive is pretty extensive in size, with a large living area, a small but functional kitchen, a library/office space, and then a decently sized private respite block and ablution block. You knock on the door. You could have just walked right in, but that seems rude even if you were invited. The door slides open and Disciple smiles down at you. Even though trolls get darker with age, her smile and lined face has always seemed bright and warm to you. When you were a kid, you'd put your pale gray hands on her deep dark arms and wonder what you'd look like at her age. Honestly, you don't know what your lifespan is given your mutation. Signless didn't die of old age, so you've got no clue. Disciple's pretty fucking old, though. She's mid-blood, but she's very old for Olive, not that you like to think of that. Karkat! Disciple says cheerily and pulls you into a hug. You bury your face in her hair and take in the smoky smell of her. It's not as if she'd been by any firesides on the ship, but she spent so much time nearby them than when she was younger that it's almost part of her now. Hey, Des, you smile at her. Ooh, cake, come on in, she grins, taking the grocery bag from your hand. It's Lemon. I hope that's okay, you say as she totters over to her kitchen services and starts unpacking the treats you brought her. But behind you, a door slides open and you turn to see the captain herself. Captain, you say, about as respectfully as you can get away with. Oh, Jade, what's Captain Jade's voice? Don't you captain me, I heard cake. Captain Jade says with a wicked smile as she rubs her wrinkly hands together in anticipation. It's funny to look at her sometimes. The resemblance between her and her granddaughter is just uncanny when she gets that mischievous expression on her face. Remarkable hearing at your age, sir, you say innocently. Oh, the cheek on this one here, the captain explains, and then tries to pinch your cheek, the same way she's tried many times since you're a literal fool, but you're wise to this game. Unfortunately, she is older, wiser, and cannier than you are, and you end up with pinched cheeks and very ruffled hair despite your escape attempts. In the background, Disciple is casually slicing up cake and serving it onto dainty little plates, all while boiling water for tea. All right, stop, dear. Disciple's tone turns a little warning as she looks at the captain, although the menace is a little undercut by the carefully plated cake slices in each hand. The captain of your entire vessel, the woman who actually lived on Earth before it was destroyed, a woman who rose to the ranks of command and jumped ship to an Alternian vessel back when trolls and humans who weren't as affat with each other as they are now. The woman who proved herself to high bloods and low bloods alike and got control of her own vessel at the remarkably young age of 30, but can even now in her old age make the sub-jugulators nod with respect. That woman looks at the offered cake and weighs it against the chance to keep pinching you for her own amusement, and with a delighted cackle lets you go and takes her cake. I'll be on the bridge, the captain says cheerily, kisses Disciple on the cheek, and scampers away with her treat. Come on, sit down. Disciple smiles and takes a seat on the lounge plank, gently patting a space at her side. You settle into place at the Disciple's side and uneasily pick at your cake with your fork. It's one of a set, a collection of the captain's. All Earth original, and none of them match at all, which makes them match in an odd way. A lot of stuff from Earth was melted down to make needed components for ships, and it saddens you to think about how much history the humans lost. All the cultural contained in physical items that no longer exists. Of course you still have forks and even replicas of designs from Earth, but the real thing is rare, and that's a shame. Carcat? The Disciple prompts, and you realize that you've been avoiding thinking about what you came here for. Did Signless ever have problems with people? He was executed, so yes, stupid question. Stupid. How do you mean? Disciple asks instead. You fiddle with your fork, not looking at her. I mean, he had you and the psionic, and the three of you were a thing. You begin your words faltering. Yeah? Disciple says slowly. It's not as if she doesn't talk to you about yours and Solux's ancestors a lot. She talks to you and Kankri. She talks to you and Kankri, Solux, Nepeta, and Mulin all the time. Matuna, too, as well before all that went down. She took losing him pretty hard, probably because it was a huge echo of how it felt to have the psionic taken from her forever. It certainly wouldn't have helped that Matuna was the spitting image of his ancestor. You've seen the pictures, so you know that. Signless looked a lot more like Kankri, but if Kankri was trying to disguise himself as you, it's an odd mix. When it comes to Disciple, it's Nepeta who resembles her more. Anyway, she talks about them a lot. She's so interested in all of you because Signless and Psionic were hers. Granted, she has an interest in Kanaya and Porum too, but Disciple wasn't romantically involved with their ancestors, so it's not the same. For better or for worse, Disciple is invested in your lives because for all the six shit, the five of you aren't your ancestors. There's echoes and mutations of who they were alive in all of you. You know what weirds some of the humans out? Not on your ship, but on the ones where it's almost all human, where they don't get trolls so much. You consider if your Vantis, Captor, Legion descendants to be related in some way, which no, you're not. The only person you have anything close to that with is Cankry. The Alternian word for what you are to him is Dancestor, but that doesn't really map over accurately enough to borrow the words brother or cousin from human languages, but it's the closest to it. Your ancestor's background with Solux gives your whole deal context but not relation. It's not like that. So Disciple isn't family to you, not like how Jade sees the captain, not like how you saw your Lusses, and not like how you see Cankry. But she's something. Maybe in a few more generations with shorter ancestor descendant turnaround thanks to the mother grubs being so scattered and decentralized. Maybe then there'll be some term coined for what she is to you, but she's family in some sense, and adoptive sense. You've distracted yourself again. Sorry, you apologize quickly. It's alright. Disciple assures you. When he was with you in the psionic, did he have feelings for other people? You ask her. Disciple smiles a little sadly and slices a fork through her cake. He had lots of feelings for lots of people. I'm assuming you mean romantic, sort of. He still had attraction to other people outside of us, certainly. We spent a lot of time laying low in places in psionic, and he set up this game, Pale Quad Kill, whenever we were watching people, or even when we've been around people for a bit, in private, of course, so he certainly experienced attraction, even though he was with us. We all did. It's perfectly normal, and we weren't jealous about some passing appreciation for someone's looks or personality, Disciple explains. That, yeah, I'm not surprised by that. You say with a shake of your head. That entirely sounds like something Solux would do too. Again, your ancestors have echoes in you. Are you having feelings for someone outside of your relationship with your Moirail? Disciple asks you carefully. An excess of feelings is perpetually my problem, and will be my entire fucking life, I'm sure. I mean, you stumble slightly in your words. Did he ever want to be with anyone other than you two? Not just finding someone attractive, but actively wanting to be involved with them. If he did, I'd know about it. And I know Psionic did at one point. We'd been dealing with a lower class ship's helmsman, trying to get a way to free her, and Psi spent a lot of time talking to her, and he developed some feelings, and he felt terribly guilty about that. Signless talked to him about it. I know that much, but I don't remember if they told me what they'd said. It became a non-issue anyway, because sadly she was caught and killed. She answers you. There's an answer there somewhere, but it's lost to the depths of time. Either because Disciple doesn't remember in her old age, with so many years between then or now, or just because she was never made aware of the details of that conversation. I wish I could ask him, you say, small and sad. Ow. And most trolls never meet their ancestors, and you're no exception. But you know so much of him through her, and he's strange in so many of ways that you are, and you always feel that if he was here, he could help you. You miss him, which is stupid because you've never met. You like to think sometimes that he is still here, in a way, living through you in a far better time and place, despite the end of the universe chasing you through space. You're not him, but you hope that if there's anything like a soul that exists, that maybe his can see all of this through you. You just hope you're not a complete letdown for him. If you tell me what the problem is, that maybe I can tell you what he might have said, Disciple suggests gently, her hand on her shoulder. You know how much me and Solix have always... You break off with a vague gesture to communicate just how much you've always loved him. How you're pale and red and black, and how sometimes he gets himself so much that he could almost be ashen between the parts of him that attacks his own well-being and the rest of him. He's your best friend, and there's everything there all at once, and things will always be complicated. He and Aradia broke up, and obviously he's hurt. Of course he is. I want to make it better. I'm trying to help however I can because I'm his best friend, but I know he has feelings, and I have feelings, but I have Gamzee, so I don't even know if I'm helping or if I'm this horrible pale tease when that's the last thing he needs, and I don't know anymore. You feel stupid and awful. It's far too much like when you're just becoming a teenager and your feelings were so foreign and awful. You hated that you weren't normal, that you couldn't be like other trolls. You wonder if Signless ever felt so shitty. He worked out something that made him happy, but he got lucky. You don't get that. Wait, it's not that you're not lucky. You're lucky that Gamzee pities the broken mess that you are, that he's willing to be exclusive with you when every other troll would surely tell you to fuck all the way off if you dared ask for that. What kind of useless, ungrateful, emotionally unfaithful kind of garbage heap are you? I should go, you blurt out as you leap to your feet. Carcat, if things aren't working for you anymore, you can talk to them about it. Renegotiate. Be honest about your feelings. Disciple suggests as you flounder trying to find space to put your place of cake down. You laugh as you put it on the side, a disbelieving sound. Are you kidding? I couldn't convince those two to share a meal, much less I can't do that. It's not fair. You bite your words off at the end. I should go. Carcat, you don't have to go, Disciple says, but you do. You have to go. You make your apologizes and excuses to leave, and to leave. You hurry to the train and navigate through the ship to get back to your hive. Stumbling through the door, you feel guilt and shame burning hot up the back of your neck, and you wish so dearly that you were anything but what you are. Carcat? Gamzee sticks his head around your respite block door, his face both sleepy and confused as he looks at you. Sorry, I didn't mean to. You were sleeping, right? You trip over your words. Was until I felt all that in the hive was. Gamzee walks towards you with a slow, assessing gaze, and the lazy place of an apex predator. His purple eyes sharpen on you, looking right through you. You no doubt. Your back hits the door and your mind flashes through guilt, shame, self-loathing, all of it. Gamzee's far larger hand goes for your neck. He could snap it one-handed, you're pretty sure, but instead he just shoves his thumb against the underside of your chin to make you look up at him again. At some point you'd stop doing that. Who hurt you? Gamzee asks quietly. You laugh a hysterical kind of sound that doesn't seem to set your concerned Moiral at ease any. You're pretty sure he wants to rip apart whoever upset you, given that it's you sort of wish he would. No one. Me. I'm sorry. He answers instead. What are you sorry for? He asks with confusion, with a confused frown pulling at his face paint. I'm everything. Me. I'm sorry I'm like this. I'm sorry I'm the way I am. I know everything with Solix and you is hard, and I don't deserve this, and I wish I was better, and you put up with so much. Nah! You yelp as Gamzee picks you up and throws you over his shoulder like a bag of dirty laundry. There's no getting down from Gamzee's shoulders. You don't want to claw him up trying to escape, and you have the feeling that if you tried, you wouldn't get anywhere. What the fuck? Put me down! You shout as your Moral casually walks through your hive with you over his shoulder. You can hear him kicking off a few things about, and then, with the momentum that you can't resist, he sort of swings you off of his shoulder and down onto a pile of stuff he's shoved together. Gamzee drops to his knees and rests his hands on either side of you so he can fully stare you down, almost nose to nose. He's so close. Occasionally, this is so stupid. Occasionally you remember when he picks you up like this or gets close to all that quiet, he is actually a highly trained killer, that he's taken down creatures 10 times your size, that for all his long, narrow limbs, there's an absurd strength there. that he could rend apart or kill a normal person if he wanted to. He wouldn't, though. You know him better than that. What's going on in your pan? Gamzee asks, his voice a deep rumble. Not the subject of Gamzee's potential to kill and dismember people, no. It's stupid, you say, and look off to the side. A deep, displeased growl reverberates through Gamzee's chest, and a large hand comes up to the side of your head. He hooks his thumbs around your horn and makes you look at him. Yeah, you're not getting out of this that easily. He steers you down and waits patiently. You always give in first when it comes to this sort of situation. I wish I was... I keep missing the Karkat voice. I wish I wasn't the way I am, you confess. Gamzee makes a disapproving tutting sound and shakes his head, his long fingers stroking paths through your hair. The way you are is some kind of miracle. Don't say that, he assures you gently. Doesn't feel like it. I talked to Disciple today and I feel shitty about the whole wretched situation. If I was Silenless, he's know what to do. Instead, I'm here. I tried to talk to Aradia to see if she was okay about the Solix thing because she's my friend too, but she snapped at me and how I'm supposed to be her friend too, and I just want to be okay, and it's all tumbling out of you in a rush now, words slamming into each other in a 50-car pile-up of disaster. Shoosh. Silentless ain't here, and even if you were him, it's not him I pity, it's yourself, so stop with that for one. Gamzee tells you and paps your cheek with his other hand, the one not keeping you focused on him. Second, I get what you mean with Aradia. Girl's all kinds of unbearable lightness going on up in that pan of hers, but she ain't gonna crack. You can't make her. That's not your problem, Gamzee says, his cold fingers tapping out a soothing pan on your cheekbone. Without any input from your things, Spud, you can already feel yourself melting into this pile of whatever it is that Gamzee kicked together. What if she won't talk to me because of me and Solox? You ask softly. There's a flicker of that age-old irritation at Solux even being mentioned, let alone the idea that there is something between the two of you that could make Aradia unhappy. Shit. Disciple was all ready to suggest that you asked Gamzee if you can rearrange your relationship, even assuming that you'd be okay with exclusively dating Gamzee and exclusively dating Solix at the same time, and assuming that both of them would be alright not seeing anyone but you, which is a bonkers demand, even assuming that both of them would be alright not seeing other people and sharing you with someone else. You know damn well that neither Solix nor Gamzee would be alright sharing with you with the other romantically. Gamzee would rather eat broken glass than do that. You don't need to ask shit to know that. Things might have worked out all moonshine and roses for your ancestor who got himself a nice little exclusive triangular polyamorous thing. That's what the humans call that, at least. But that's not happening here. It'd be more likely for you to be crowned empress, and that's not happening in any universe. The irritation on Gamzee's face slips off like it was never there, and instead he smiles softly at you. Aradia's problems are hers, man. She's got to face the darkness on her own. Even that's not usually her job, Gamzee assures you. He paps your face a little harder now and leans down to rest his whole body on you. The hand on your face is less of a gentle tap and more like he's kneading into all the little pale chemical release places in your face and making your mind go all goo. Fuck, you can't think good. You try and say something, but it's all garbly nonsense. Instead, Gamzee is a cold weight on you, his chilled hands on your face like a cold shower, rinsing every bad thought you have away. All thoughts, actually. Chapter end! Sorry for the bit at the beginning of the stream where I was reading Tale of Two Cities finals week, you know how it goes. I want to point out this line right here. This author has written 2 stories where Karkat is indeed crowned empress. So it's quite an ironic line, is all I'll say. Next chapter is a Dave chapter. We're all in black because he's blind, or black background. The next chapter, I actually stopped reading chapter 5. Like, my first read through, I read chapter 5 and then I stopped reading. I got bored of it. And I didn't read chapter 6. I stopped reading it at the point where like everything, where like a bunch of stuff changes. You'll see when we read next week. I guess I'll say now, if anyone's listening, that the next chapter, it has some content in it. I will say straight up, like as a warning, I'll say it next time. Someone dies and it kind of looks like it might have been a suicide in the next chapter. So that's going to be fun when we get there. I'm saying that as like a content warning, I guess. I'll say that next time, but I really missed where the story gets interesting. But we'll do that next time. I hope you guys all enjoyed this, whatever this was. I guess see you all around or something. I don't know. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.